the money earlier. If he fights the same fight that he fought Michael Garcia with, Garcia is Mexican. He can take punches. If he does the exact thing that he did to Michael Garcia, there's no way the Porter's going to last that long. I don't see it. I think he will be TKO'd if he fights that fight. But I don't know. I think he will last the distance, and I think it will be UD as well. But I think it's going to be a landslide. I don't think it's going to be close.
No.
I probably see like 127 to 112 or something like that.
I see like, maybe 10 rounds to 2.
Yeah.
That's about what I see it going. 10 rounds to 3 at the most.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't count out Porter just because he's so tough and he's a grinder. I think he'll grind him, especially in those middle rounds. But early on, Errol Spence. Late in the fight, Errol Spence.
You're going to see his footwork, and he's accurate.
Dude, he is. And that's what scares me. You know what's crazy? Even though they're not in the same weight division, and like if I had a video game button to play this, him versus Andre Ward, that's a great fight, dude. In my head.
Yeah, or even him and the what's his name, the dude just fought everybody too. Shane Mosley. That'd be a nice fight too.
Hell yeah! I mean, Shane Mosley.
Well, at his prime. Obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. When he was taken off the steroids.
Right.
All right, bro. I want to ask you this, man. Since it is sweater weather season, not in Texas, but in the rest of the country. What's your favorite fall coffee flavor?
Okay, so I think I'm already drinking a coffee that has a. It's an all-terrain, kind of like all-terrain tires. This is an all-seasonal coffee. It's from Roasteries. It's called Betty's Recipe, and it has chocolate and hazelnut flavors into it and some caramel on there.
Oh, shit.
And I grind them up every morning and make 10.5 cups, enough for me and my wife. And the smell is amazing. The taste doesn't have a bad aftertaste, and when you drink it, the warmth hits your soul, and it wakes you up. For me, that's the best coffee.
It's kind of like the commercial for Folgers. Best part of in your cup, Folgers in your cup, but not really Folgers, but it's Betty's in your cup.
Right.
Shit,
It's great, man.
it's good.
What's yours, Botello?
Of course, but
Right. That's the
standard.
the legend.
That's
Yeah.
the standard.
Right.
That's the standard, right?
Right.
But like right now, dude, I've been into those. I hate to call it because I'm gonna be basic as fuck, but those cloud foam macchiatos from freaking Starbucks, bro, they hit hard.
The which ones?
Cloud foam.
Okay, so is that the same? No, okay, so I've been drinking from them the Nitro Brew cold one.
Oh shit, that is
Fire.
the shit.
So good.
That shit, 2 of those, bro, I go through the fucking moon.
Yeah, it's so good.
So, they can't sell you more than a grande, right? But I was hanging out with Coach one day and we were ordering coffee. And he goes, can I get 2 grandes? And he poured them into this Yeti cup, dude. 2 grande nitros into a Yeti cup. 32 ounces, bro. Drank that shit. Rolled for 6 hours. Well, I'm exaggerating the 6 hours, but we rolled for a long time. Sweated like motherfuckers. It was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. But, yeah, dude, not much news this week, man. It's kind of like weird how it's hyping up yet dying down, bro. Not a lot of fight talk, not a lot of news talk.
No, that's something of the year.
But we got a cool little segment, and I want to talk about this. It's a little thing called manhood.
Manhood.
And how pop culture is also bringing out something called cancel culture. And I think manhood, or lack of manhood, is bringing in upon this cancel culture. And they almost go hand in hand in a negative way because of narratives in the media and online and people, activists blaming things on men. But I went on the internet and I looked up the definition of manhood. Mm-hmm. This is the official Webster definition of manhood: the state or a period of a man of a man rather than a child. Boys in the process of growing up into manhood, or a man growing into sexual maturity, aka adulthood. before we get going into how manhood has been perverted and mistreated in media, what is your definition of manhood?
Manhood?
Yes.
I mean, the way that the world describes it is like, oh, you're a man, you make a lot of money, you have a lot of women, you're independent, you don't take no's from anybody, and you can beat somebody up pretty quick. For me, manhood is, like I said, that's what the world thinks. For me, manhood is maybe that in such a smaller scale. Like, obviously being a provider, manhood is, for me, like, not believing in things that, not believing in ideals, in your parents' ideals, is more like creating your own culture, creating your own belief system based on your experiences, and having good relationships, man. I mean, and number one, being a provider to your family, for sure. That's just the way I see it. It's probably way off, but
I agree with you. I think being a man in today's world is not just slinging women, slinging dick, whatever you want to call it, right? Not making money or showing off, or yes, those are all masculine features, but that is not what defines a man. And I'm going to echo everything you said, and you said it perfectly, so I don't want to even say it any different. Is making your way in the world while having integrity, right? So that's the only way I can say it. But in recent years, last about 3 or 4 years now, there's such thing as toxic masculinity and cancel culture. Now, cancel culture, according to the internet, is defined by a form of boycott which someone or something is against, something of popularity, like a celebrity or anything like that, who has shared questionable or unpopular opinions, or has behavior that is perceived to be offensive and or called out or canceled on social media. So the reason I kind of put these two together today was because we're going through a lot with the whole Antonio Brown situation, right? The president and what's going on with him. And just overall we're on the back end of the Me Too movement. We're on the back end of, what I consider probably the time in American history, none where manhood is being attacked. At least good manhood is being attacked. We're being attacked for, I'm not trying to make any excuses. I think a lot of it is very warranted, first of all. But we're being attacked for being men. Like, we're supposed to be less of who we are. Where I get it, there's a lot of dudes that act shitty. We can name a couple of them off that are celebrities. But I think we're all being lumped up as a whole instead of, being looked at a case-by-case basis. And I think that even though they're opposing ideas for definitions, I think that the idea of manhood is being attacked because of the negative stereotypes that come with men.
Right. And I think that's the issue in general, because if you look at it, even with racism, I mean, that's literally what that is as well. It's grabbing a small percentage of infractions that happen within a race, and then you automatically assume that's how everybody is. I mean, it that's the problem with now. It's all generalizing up to a certain extent is catastrophic.
And what kind of prompted this is we. So I was reading today, and that comedian that was on SNL for all of 48 hours, he said one thing on a podcast like we do that was obviously a joke, right? It was so blatantly a joke that he got basically canceled and deplatformed for one joke. Now, I don't know if this bleeds into like free speech or whatever, right? Like I don't have the credentials to say all of this, but I do know that we're being canceled because one, we're men, right? Like we're born with a penis. All of a sudden, we're supposed to be racist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, and because we are straight Christian cisgendered males, we are the enemy. And I don't believe that to be the fact. I believe that we just hold this set of ideals that are derived from common sense. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's yet the world is on this, at least pop culture, right? And what influences most of people's opinions, not the reality, just the perception is, that we're the enemy because we do think these old-fashioned ways.
Right.
It's not that the old-fashioned ways are bad. Maybe they might be a little outdated, especially when it comes to the gays and the LGBT community. I agree with some of that. But for overall, I don't think men have really changed. At least the bulk of men haven't really changed.
Okay.
I know that what is considered cool now is what used to be the pussy or the wimp back in our parents' day. But now the old guy that's still the rebel without a cause, wearing the leather jacket, smoking a cigarette, not giving a fuck, he's more legit, more cool, and perceived as a man with values and nature and integrity compared to the adult men of today. What do you think has changed so much, and why do you think that popular culture wants to cancel out that old-fashioned grit, the old-fashioned tough guy, the old-fashioned guy with like, yeah, I'm tough, yeah, I smoke a cigarette, but I have principles and I have integrity? Why is that being canceled? What is your opinion on
that? I just think that, see, our generation grew up with fads, or how we say nowadays, riding the wave.
Yeah.
If you look back as far as Pokemon,
yeah.
If you didn't do that, you were whack.
Yeah.
The yo-yos, you were whack. If you didn't wear certain clothes, certain shoes, you were whack. You were ostracized. Now, growing up, I feel like since our generation has pushed this agenda, if you're not backing up a certain ideology or a certain belief or riding that wave, then you are ostracized. And that's just the way that I think now. That's the only thing that I'm logically able to put the pieces together, man. I mean, we just if you're not writing this, if you don't believe in this, then I can't mess with you, and you're wrong and you're trash, basically.
So let me ask you this question: do you think that the average male between 18 and 35 is missing character?
It could be. I'm not the average.
I'm not asking you to name any specific person, but like
right.
As a generation.
As a generation,
do you think that men that are growing up in today's world, are coming to age in today's world?
I'm gonna say yes because of social media, following a lot of.
I say look at hip hop. That's a great example of the difference between men and boys, right?
Okay.
Look at even a generation of hip hop. I consider the 2000 to 2005 like the last real generation of hip hop, mm-hmm. right? When you had the people with fucking morals, right? That like guys like Tekashi 6ix9ine, he is a product of shitty manhood. Like mm-hmm. to me, right? Where we grew up with like actual gangsters, and I'm not trying to glorify it, but I'm trying to say the type of men that were examples to us when we were growing up.
Right.
Is dudes was like, no, there's a moral, there's a code to this. They lived by the sword, they died by the sword, and there was a moral to it that even my parents show, that your parents show. It was like, yeah, they might not agree ideologically, but they have a moral code in which they live by. 50 Cent, it was like, no. That motherfucker was a liar. He did me out my money. He wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah, there was this all beef or whatever, but shit got handled the way shit got handled.
Right.
Nobody went to the cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Was it right?